An ordinary wooden door. One that's a whole lot less ostentatious than the neighbor's. Wait a minute, there's a metal plaque on the wall next to the door. I can hardly believe it. But is it possible that the voice in my head has been guiding me?
And then we began to run out of even the most basic supplies.
No. I'd only rip it if I tried to pull it down without first taking out the screws. It's the backdrop I used for the photography I did at home. It's hanging down from that wooden beam, held in place with screws, big, thick, and made of plasticized fabric. It's the backdrop that used to hang from the ceiling of my tiny studio. It's true that this opaque fabric would cover the glass completely. But why would I want to do that? I have no intention of hanging it back up, after I had to loosen the screws holding it to that beam one by one. Wrap this object up in the fabric? What for? I don't see any need to cover this with plasticized fabric. This fabric was part of my professional equipment as a photographer before the Great Wave. I prefer to hold on to it.
And that was when the Army took over complete control of the center.
It's exactly the same view of the park and the statue that appears in the photo on the poster. No doubt this must have been one of my simplest and most lucrative jobs. I completed it without even leaving the house. Whoever designed this building didn't go to too much trouble to conceal the structural elements. There are pillars and wooden beams all over the place. A line of tiny screws holds up the white backdrop that hangs from the crossbeam. The front door of this apartment has been reinforced with various locks and bolts.
That's a good question, Mike.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Despite the surveillance by the soldiers, the people who live in this building must be terrified of burglary and looting. I think I hear noise from the other side of that peephole, but I'm not sure. Damn it. Being in this place is starting to make me feel a little bit paranoid. Hey, wait a minute. The underground rivers that carried the sewage and garbage from Doomsday City lead here. If I ever thought I couldn't fall any lower, this place helps me remember how mistaken I was. This is where that river of filthy water ends. It's funny, despite the nauseating stench it gives off.
Then they sealed off the building. No one was allowed to leave, not even us.
There's something hypnotic about that viscous green waterfall. Ugh. Dip this in there? What for? They wouldn't be of any use to me. These bullets have already been fired. They gleam like gold nuggets, illuminated by the light that enters through the ceiling. These empty shell casings are evidence that a shooting occurred in these sewers, the physical evidence of a murder. Those bastards in uniform ended Sarah's life in the sewers, and they did it in cold blood. Damn it. More of that macabre graffiti. This pestilent city is oozing blood from every pore.
We doctors and nurses have been shut in here for months, isolated without even a glimpse of daylight. They say it's for security reasons.